Alright everyone, this is episode number 88 today for the Australian Grand Prix of Season 6. If you missed the previous episode, the opening round of the season at Jeddah, I recommend you go and check that one out before seeing this one, because spoiler alert, I actually won that race ahead of Max Verstappen after a late safety car as well. So, that's the championship order. Can, though, we improve and win again here at Australia? R&D, no changes whatsoever. Flat lines all around. I'm surprised we haven't seen anything for Aston Martin. I'm expecting them to still have upgrades in the bag. Whether or not Lawrence Stroll's decided to be a tightwad now and not invest in the facilities or something, I don't know. But anyway, we're here going to go to qualifying then for Melbourne. A track that, is okay for me. With this new layout, it's not the best track in the world for me, but
I know you're eager to get out there, but I'm going to need you to be patient for a few minutes. We're just trying to zero in on an oil leak.
Good job there, team. Don't want to have many of those. Remember, what was it, season 1 or season 2? And they were literally every other race. So it's the first one we've had of those in a while, to be fair. As well, first lap was enough for P13. As I say, I don't have the overripe pace around here, especially through turn 9 and 10. It's just horrible. Sector 1 as well, it's okay, but this new bit where is actually where I'm gaining time against the AI. We're actually losing time though compared to our previous best time, so it's not been a great lap actually. Only narrowly up through the first sector. You can see we're half a tenth up. Now we need to try and gain big time through this final sector. This is where I struggle against the AI. That's where the most time is left on the table compared to the AI. Better turner there. That's gained us a tenth through this corner. Always horrible. And then up to this left-hander, which has actually gained us a little bit of time through the final corner, which is pretty much just flat out these days in these maxed out cars, losing a little bit of time up to the line, and it's only P13, which is not that great, only narrowly beating our teammates. So we've got it all to do if we want to continue our good form. We want to win this race again. We want to get good, even that damage limitation potentially, and try and get some good points potentially compared to the likes of Verstappen, Norris and Leclerc. So we'll see what we can do from the 13th place on the grid. It's time for the race. It's time for the Australian Grand Prix.
The crowd are here and it's brilliant to see them lining the track here in Albert Park. It's going to be a fantastic day of racing. Welcome everyone to the Australian Grand Prix. Here we are then at the Albert Park circuit, 3.28 miles of bumpy city streets, but not a lot in the way of elevation changes. The circuit goes all the way around the lake, taking in 14 corners. Note the DRS zones into turns 1, 3 and 11. They'll offer our drivers a number of good opportunities to overtake. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Albon, Oscar Piastri and Sainz, Gasly, Tsunoda, Vettel and Kevin Magnussen, Hamilton, Ocon, Phoenix and Ticktum, Mick Schumacher, Joe, Robert Schwartzman and Nicholas Latifi. Stroll and George Russell ends our grid lineup. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Natalie Pinkham joins me once again in the commentary box. It's fantastic to have you with us today. I'm curious though, how do you think the drivers stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It'll keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Okay, now that we've got some good points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
And Michael will try to get some points. I think we can, but what we want is the bigger points, you know, possibly even a podium, dare say. And for that, I think we're going to need the alternate strategy. Now, one thing that annoys me is this personalised projected thing, which is complete and utter bollocks, because it resets your strategy every time, even though, you know, it should be giving you whatever timings it should be. Not, you know, it should just be given the best timings overall, based off the practice and not what the computer says. So enough about that. 5 red lights then, the Australian Grand Prix, and away we go. And it's an okay start compared to Ocon, but then he'll have that second phase. There he goes. Can we get him around the outside though? Into turn 1, yes, we can. Got a couple of cars as well. Magnussen out of shape there. Tyre banging with Magnussen in the Alpha Tower. He's had a poor start now, and now we're going to get Magnussen up the inside at turn 3, and into the points we go. So we made up a couple of positions ahead of Hamilton as well, and now it's time to progress, as it's a Red Bull 1-2 at the front, Verstappen leading Leclerc again. So Red Bull look good on paper, but on track, you know, I mean, to begin with, you know, they're looking good. Whether or not they can actually keep that for the rest of the race, we'll have to wait and see. As there, it's Hamilton going past Magnussen. Magnussen actually has been reported to have a bit of an issue, so he's holding a few people up as well. And that was a bit of smoke. That's Sebastian Vettel, and his Ferrari has decided it doesn't want to race anymore as well. And the first part of this race was complete and utter boring. I'm not going to lie, there was not a lot to report from it, as Verstappen has been held in the pits and he's therefore been jumped by Lando Norris. So Verstappen, it missed out on the win in Jeddah, and he looks like he might miss out again, as Norris is the de facto leader, although Leclerc is yet to pick. We'll see where Leclerc comes out in relation to Norris, because of course he was ahead before the first run of pits. Tsunoda's up here as well, so McLaren and Red Bull seem to got both cars firing, and then it's the rest of us, a sole car between us. We're going to come out in P9, still ahead of Hamilton, comfortably ahead of Hamilton there, Magnussen as well. Now, though, we're going to start using these soft tyres. You know, waking up in this race, there's a bit of a train forming as well. We're going to start with Carlos Sainz down the inside at the final corner, still going side by side. Takes a deeper line into the final corner, and that's a nice little move there. As Kevin Magnussen is trying to come back in this race, he's fallen all the way down behind the Astons, and that is not going to help, because that's his front wing gone. Now we're going to get past Piastri. Well, he's still there on the inside the corners. There's the top end speed from the Porsche power unit, but we have made it past and up to P7. Just so you know, we know how fast that Porsche power unit is, because I spent 3 seasons making it a rocket ship in a straight line. It still is a rocket ship in a straight line, but in the end we got it done under braking with the better tyres. Now we close up to Gasly in the AlphaTauri, and Tsunoda as well in the McLaren. Can we get Gasly? It's a simple move down at turn 3, and up to P6 we go. Now focus on Tsunoda, and then Albon. Tsunoda, a little bit more difficult, doesn't want to give the space. We have to squeeze it through on the inside there, and we just about made the position there. Tsunoda, so he didn't want to give up the room, you know, trying to help his teammate out there, and obviously trying to get consistent points. As while we were making that move, Gasly locked up, and he let Piastri through, much to the delight of the home crowd. Of course, Piastri did win in the McLaren, but before getting fired as well. Up at the front, it isn't confirmation Leclerc does lead from Norris. Norris unable to find a way past as of yet with DRS as well. And that jumps us to lap 13. We're all over the back now of Alex Albon to the right hand side, but we get, you know, just trying to move out the slipstream and actually slow the car down in a straight line there. A little bit weird how that happened, but anyway, we're going to have DRS down the outside here. Bit unusual to make the move from the outside of that corner, but we blasted past anyway, and up to P4, which is the maximum what we could do. You know, the medium tyres were not there in the first start of the stint, and we just fell away really. And in the end, P4 with the soft tyres at the end, I think that's possibly the maximum we could have done anyway with the starting position we had. You know, down in P13 to make those 9 places up, the majority on the soft tyres at the end. That is the difference of the strategy. You've got fastest lap as well, which is all an extra point in our bid to to earn a 4th World Championship in a row. Ticktum missed out on points again, so that is frustrating. You know, he needs to get his act together and try and help us out in the Constructors' Championship really. As well, Ocon also not scoring points. That really doesn't help Alpine out either. So we still have a 6-point lead over Verstappen, 9 points over Norris, 14 back to Leclerc, jumps up to P4 after his DNF in Jeddah. Piastri drops to P5. And there's the Constructors' pit, 19 points. That's just going to get worse, I guarantee you now, unless Ticktum starts scoring consistent points. We're going to have one hand tied behind our back really. You know, this is how Red Bull felt with Verstappen when the Mercedes were dominating. You know, they only had one car up there as well. We leave the rivalry as expected, so yes, we have an Ask the Drivers features as well to round off this episode as well, although I'm pretty sure these questions have been the same. What's your greatest inspiration? I think we've answered this one about 3 different times and gone with about the 3 different answers really. You know, I mean, they should really, you know, the end part of this game have different answers. We went with the drivers as well. Apparently our second driver, I think Ticktum got some acclaim as well for some reason. You know, and again, we definitely answered this one before. As well, so the same questions being asked time and time again, and I know Claire was a little bit was annoying, but I'd rather have her than that because it's just repetitive as well. So yes, that is where I'm going to leave today's episode. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, and new to the channel. See plenty more F122 driver remote videos as when they come out. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.